latest Pokemon TCG expansion, Legendary Treasures, is a brand new set full of, well, a lot of old cards actually. For the most part, this set is full of reprinted cards with brand new art, but there are some fresh concepts as well. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how these new cards affect the game competitively. There are some cards that were not in the format that were reprinted as well. We will include those on the list, well, at least to be eligible for the list. But cards like Mewtwo EX and Keldeo EX, stuff like that, they're not going to be on the list. Because hey, we already have them. But without further ado, let's take a look at the top 10 cards of Legendary Treasures. To start things off at number 10, we have a brand new Pokemon EX, Chandelure EX. Now this is one of the first EX Pokemon that is actually an evolved Pokemon, but because it's an EX, they put it in a basic form. So that is pretty unique in itself. Beyond that, there's not much cool about Chandelure EX, because honestly, it does not stack up well against the other ones we already have available to us. Curse Drop is okay, but it's kind of weak in the grand scheme of things, and Eerie Glow is very expensive to use, and it really doesn't pack that much of a punch. So we're going to put Chandelure EX on the list at number 10. It may have some use in the future, but for now, it's really not that great. Number 9 is going to be a brand new supporter card, Elesa. Now when you play this supporter, you can search for 3 Pokemon tools from your deck and put them into your hand. This is very similar to the card Silent, which allows you to search for 3 basic energy cards and put them in your hand. Much like Silent though, this card is going to be very situational and probably not great in general. The only use I can think of is to play it in a deck with the Tool Drop Trubbish, which would allow you to instantly do 60 extra damage by getting 3 tools. But beyond this, Elesa probably won't see much play. But hey, it's a new supporter, a new concept, so we might as well include it on the list. Number 8 is going to be our other brand new Pokemon EX in this set, Excadrill EX. Now like Chandelure EX, Excadrill is an evolved Pokemon, but you can play it as a basic Pokemon because it's an EX. It's a little bit better than Chandelure, however it's still not that great. Dig Out has some potential to get some extra energy into play, but Break Ground is just an extremely expensive attack that probably won't be used very often. A weakness to water really limits this card's playability, but you never know when cards could be good, so Excadrill EX sits here at number 8. Next up we have Cobalion, a reprint from the set Noble Victories. Now this card is an exact reprint of that one, but Noble Victories rotated out, so now welcome back Cobalion. Clang Clang decks were really missing an extra metal attacker, and now maybe Cobalion can be that solution. It's a non-EX attacker, Energy Press is a very solid attack, and Iron Breaker isn't bad either. Unfortunately, it probably won't have much use beyond those Cling Clang decks, which may not have too much viability anymore anyway. Cobalion is still a decent attacker though, so we may see it splashed into some decks here and there. For that reason, we'll have him sit here at number 7. Number 6 is a brand new card that is pretty cool in its own right, and that's going to be Spiritomb. Now Spiritomb has a unique ability in Sealing Scream, which prevents both players from playing any Ace-Spec cards. This could be rather useful against decks that feature Genesect EX that rely heavily on the card G-Booster to hit for 200 damage. With Spiritomb in play, you can block that strategy and give yourself an advantage. You can also shut off every other Ace-Spec, because let's face it, every deck plays an Ace-Spec card. They're too good not to just play one. So Spiritomb can effectively shut off an important part of your opponent's strategy. It also has Hexed Mirror, a card that functions similarly to the old supporter card Copycat, or if you want to go back to the card Chatot, that has the same attack, Mimic. Hexed Mirror is a very solid attack that could really get you out of a sticky situation if you don't have many cards in your hand to work with. So Spiritomb definitely has some potential, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see it played in this upcoming season. Number 5 is going to feature a duo of Pokemon, and it's my personal favorite, Meloetta EX and Seismitoad. That's right, Round is back. Now, Seismitoad is of course a reprint of the Noble Victories one. But Meloetta EX gives this deck a lot of extra power that it didn't have before. Round does 30 damage for each Pokemon with round you have in play. So now you can just bench a bunch of those Meloetta EXs, and all of a sudden Seismitoad is doing a ton of damage really quickly. Of course, you're not really going to use Meloetta EX to attack, because 3 Psychic Energy is a ridiculous cost, but Seismitoad does only cost 2 Colorless Energy. That makes round an actually usable attack, when in the joke, or where in the past, it was just a joke kind of reserved for Bad Deck Monday. Now, who knows? Maybe Seismitoad will come around. At number 4, we have another old card returning to the format, and that is Victini. Of course, Victini was featured a lot for its ability Victory Star, which allows you to reflip any coins whenever you use an attack that involves a coin flip. This has all sorts of uses, and we've seen it throughout the history of, well, whenever it was legal, used in combination with all sorts of cards. I can't even think of how many times I've seen Victini in a lot of decks. Of course, right now there really aren't that many strategies that feature coin flips that I'm aware of, but who knows? In the future, maybe a card that requires 1 or 2 coin flips will be released, and Victini will increase that card's viability. This is always a strong ability to improve your odds, and I mean, we're going to see this at some point in the future, I'm sure. Number 3 is a card I personally dislike a lot, but you can't deny that it's powerful. Crushing Hammer is back. You flip a coin, if heads, remove an energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This card can be absolutely devastating to lock down your opponent and really just remove their energy and prevent them from attacking. The reason this card is so potent is because Sableye exists, which can junk hunt for multiple Crushing Hammers and really allow you to deny your opponent energy throughout the game. A card like this really limits a lot of strategies we have out there, and it's extremely good. So, as much as I hate to say it, look out for Crushing Hammer. As long as Sableye is around, this card is going to be played, and it's going to be annoying. Speaking of annoying, welcome back Gothitelle. The number 2 card on our list has one of the most devastating abilities in the game, Magic Room, which shuts off all of your opponent's item cards as long as it's your active Pokemon. In the previous season, we saw this card used in potentially one of the best decks in the format, Gothitelle Excadrill, the one that was used to win U.S. Nationals. Now, that strategy may not be as effective anymore, but it's hard to say whether or not Gothitelle will be playable. There are a lot of cards that can get around it now, but this ability is still so strong that I'm sure at some point somebody will find a way to use it. Mad Kinesis is also a decent attack. If somebody can find a way to take advantage of this, I'm sure it will be a top deck in the future. There's no denying Gothitelle is an extremely powerful card, and it has been when it was released in Emerging Powers. So, number 2 is Gothitelle. I hate to see this card back, but it's here to stay. Before we reveal the number 1 card from Legendary Treasures, let's do a quick recap of what cards were before this. Number 10 was Chandelure EX. Number 9, the supporter Elesa. Number 8, Excadrill EX. Number 7, Cobalion. Number 6, the spooky Spiritomb. Number 5, Meloetta EX and Seismitoad. They're back to round. Number 4, Victini. Number 3, Crushing Hammer. Number 2, Gothitelle. And now here we arrive at the number 1 card from Legendary Treasures. May not be one that you expected, but a lot of people are happy to see this card back. That's going to be Energy Switch. Now, this was featured in the black and white set. It is coming back, and it really did have a lot of usefulness when it was around. People were upset when it rotated out, and now they're elated that it's back. The number 1 usage for this card last format was with Darkrai EX, where you could use its ability Dark Cloak, free retreat a Pokemon, and then take the energy that was already on it to move it to a fresh Darkrai EX, so that you could use Night Spear a lot faster. It also has uses in other decks, such as ones that feature Ho-Oh EX, that could take advantage of the Rebirth ability, and then move energy to a different Pokemon. There's no doubt that Energy Switch adds an element of excitement and unpredictability to the game, and it also adds a level of strategy as well. You can now pull out surprise attackers, and you never know what's going to happen when Energy Switch is in the format. So the number one card in Legendary Treasures is just going to be a simple item card, Energy Switch. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up our top 10 list from Legendary Treasures. Hope you enjoyed, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to the Top Cut if you haven't already. We would really appreciate it, but if not, that's your choice. If you agree or disagree with any of the cards on my list, if you think I forgot any, let me know down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to discuss with you guys what I think about the set. Otherwise, again, thanks for watching guys. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.